Undoubtedly, many of you have heard of high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, and its use in processed foods. Reports about HFCS vary widely. On one hand, people say it is almost equivalent to table sugar, which I'll refer to as sucrose. On the other hand, it has become the catch-all for all sorts of modern illnesses, including but not limited to autism, obesity, high blood pressure, cancers, headaches, cramps, global warming, you name it. It has become the catch-all for everything. So where does the truth lie between these two extremes? To establish credibility and the interest of full disclosure, I'm a chemical engineer junior and have interned for Cargill Corn Milling, which is one of the nation's largest refiners of HFCS. Today, I will tell you about how HFCS is produced, the reasons it is so widespread, and the scientifically verifiable health problems or lack thereof associated with it. To start, HFCS is produced from regular number 2 dent corn, which you've undoubtedly seen if you've ever left Lincoln city limits. The corn is harvested and transported to a processing facility. Most facilities use a wet milling process, which begins by steeping the corn to soften the kernels. The softened kernels are then ground and separated into various components. One of these is the starch. The starch slurry is hydrolyzed into glucose, since glucose is a primary component of starch. This glucose is then isomerized via enzymes into fructose. They both have the same chemical formula, but different structures. This mixed glucose-fructose syrup is purified and mixed to produce two blends, HFCS 55 and HFCS 42. HFCS 55 is 55% fructose, 42 is 42% fructose. To give you some comparison, sucrose is a mixture of fructose bonded to glucose, 50-50. Agave nectar is about 75% glucose, and apple and pear juice concentrates are both about 60% fructose. These high fructose corn syrup, once out of the facility, is loaded into rail cars or trailers and sold to various food and beverage companies. The main reason why HFCS is so common in the food industry is because it is cheaper in the United States than sucrose. Because the United States government uses price supports to help domestic sugar producers. This means that the price of sucrose in the United States is kept artificially high in order to protect them from other producers, mainly Brazil. HFCS is also more hygroscopic than sucrose, which means it retains water better. It does not dry out as easily, so it keeps food moist longer. It is also readily broken down by bacteria faster than sucrose, which means that it will make bread rise faster. Liquid HFCS is also more water soluble and mixes easier than granular sugar, so it's easier to mix into a processed food. And finally, the health issues associated with high fructose corn syrup. On the internet, there are a lot of righteous crusaders who heavily criticize HFCS on very unfounded, undereducated arguments. For example, Dr. Mark Hyman, who's an MD, reported in the Huffington Post article published on May 13th of 2011 that high fructose corn syrup was this mixture that was produced from a bunch of different components, one of which was corn stalks. This is completely ignorant and common amongst internet pundits. You have to have medical degrees to not know that much about high fructose corn syrup and its basic production. However, there are some experts who take less extreme positions. In an article published by the Mayo Clinic on September 27, 2012, Jennifer K. Nelson, who is a registered and licensed dietitian, states, "At this time, there is insufficient evidence to say that high fructose corn syrup is any less healthy than any other type of sweetener." End quote. This sentiment is supported by a Princeton study conducted by Bartley G. Hobel, who is a Department of Psychology and member of the Princeton Neuroscience Institute. This article is published in Pharmacology, Biochemistry, and Behavior in 2010, and it shows that there is no major difference in weight gain between rats given equal access to aqueous solutions sweetened with either sucrose or HFCS. This graph shows a comparison of different groups of rats, all fed. There are four different groups of rats, all fed ad libitum chow, which means all-you-can-eat food. In addition, 3 of the groups were given sugar solutions. One was given 12-hour access to HFCS solution. Another one was given 12-hour access to a sucrose solution. And one was given 24-hour access to HFCS solution. As you can see from the graph, the 2 that were given the 12-hour access gained approximately the same weight as they progressed. In fact, the HFCS rats that are given 12-hour access usually gain less weight than the ones given 12-hour access to sucrose. However, the researcher only reported on the increase in weights of the rats that were given 24-hour access to high fructose corn syrup, because he was trying to make a point that high fructose corn syrup was bad for you. So he didn't have 24-hour access to sucrose because he wasn't being very ethical when he reported on it. However, the data in his study confirms that HFCS and sucrose are basically identical in weight gain when fed equivalently. In summary, I have told you about how HFCS is made, the reasons why it is so common in processed foods, and the facts about its actual health effects. Hopefully, now you are empowered to make an educated decision about your food without being misinformed. Thank you.